Hello, welcome to the WAQ Show with your host TJ.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Dan.
And we have what I think is an interesting episode today, and actions versus intentions and what people mean behind them. And
well, come on now, TJ. All of our episodes are interesting.
That's fair. That's very true.
I don't know. Introductions was kind of lame.
Yeah. Oh, God, talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things to do, though, is talk about yourself.
No.
It depends on your intentions behind how you talk about yourself, though, and the action you take to do it.
I mean, self-filleting is always a good intention.
Always.
Yeah. No, if nobody else is going to pleasure me, I should at least do it.
Exactly.
And speaking of intentions and whatnot, Matt, why don't you kick us off here?
All right. So basically, the idea behind this is my own personal feelings on the matter are, I don't care what you do to me if you, within reason. Like, if you chop my fucking hand off on accident, I'm gonna be pretty fucking pissed. But within reason, it doesn't matter what you do to me, as long as you didn't intend it to hurt me, then I can get over most things. But on the other hand, you could literally be, like, not even an inconvenience to me, but if I find out that you were intending to fucking ruin my life, I hate your guts. Fuck you.
Which I share the same sentiment for the most part with that. Like, I'm very forgiving if I understand the intentions were good or you're trying to do well. I also find myself in that position a lot where I've messed things up, but my intent was good. But yeah. What do you think?
I think that's why I have this system, because fuck, man. Fuck if I do not think about my actions sometimes and fuck some shit up. I'm just like, holy shit, I didn't intend for this to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open with a phrase I'm probably gonna be using a lot this episode, and that's I wish that's how that worked. I think that's a good way to be. I definitely understand that intent behind stuff should drive consequence more than it does. However, ultimately, intention does not drive results. Action does, and consequences are based on results, not intention. So as great as it is to be that way that you guys are, which I think more people should strive to be like, unfortunately the way the world works is, if you accidentally chop somebody's hand off, you are going to be charged with like brutal assault or whatever the hell it is. It doesn't matter if you meant to or not.
Yeah. Also, the talking of cutting off a hand keeps reminding me of Jaime Lannister.
Nerd alert.
Yeah, but that was on purpose.
He got his revenge.
I mean, there is at least a little bit. Like, there's manslaughter versus murder. And even though manslaughter sounds worse, it is the better of the two. And if you commit manslaughter, you get less jail time than if you commit murder.
Yeah.
If you're ruled to have committed manslaughter,
yeah,
it's all about perception.
Which means but if somebody thought that it was an accident, you are more likely to get less jail time for fucking killing a person if they thought it was an accident.
Yeah, but again, that boils it down to, again, what if you intended to kill that person, but in court you convince everybody it was an accident? Your intention was to kill them in truth, but you're being judged and charged as if it was an accident and it wasn't your intent.
I mean, yeah, but it kind of works the same way with me. Like, I need to believe that it was an accident for me to feel okay with whatever you did. Or I need to believe that it wasn't an accident for me to be mad at whatever you did.
So this kind of starts as intent versus reality, but it really comes down to, this is more of a conversation about what's more important, reality or perceived reality?
I mean, I would argue that there is no reality without your perception of it.
Exactly. No, I'm right there with you, and the catch with that ultimately is, and this is like some crazy in-depth philosophy horse shit that you hear in philosophy classes, and you sit there and you're like, man, this professor's some bullshit, but in reality he's actually right.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
that reality is everything that you think you understand, and this goes for everybody in any given moment of any given day, is completely and totally subjective outside, the realms of laws of physics and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is a huge fucking problem in our justice system.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting too, because I completely agree with both of you. And it makes me think of how people can understand bad things that happen based on the intentions. And I think of like in Avengers, how a lot of people understood where Thanos was coming from. I'm not saying what he did was okay, but a lot of people were like, yeah, that makes sense. Like they weren't necessarily against it either, if that makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
Understanding
it comes down to a means to an end, because we'll use the Thanos example so things don't get too heavy. If he could remove half of all sentient life in a snap, why didn't he just double the resources in a snap instead?
Because that wouldn't have taught anybody anything. That's the point. I know people love that fucking plot hole, but his reasoning, and I don't agree with him, but his reasoning was, if you just keep giving people more when they need more, they don't learn how to self-regulate.
Yeah, but that's exactly the point I'm driving home is he didn't have to, but he took it upon himself to be the world's teacher and policer. Like, the means to the end is what made him bad.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just think it's funny because a lot of people were, like, saw his side and were like, yeah, no, we get it. Like, it wasn't like a true, like, oh, I hate that. A lot of people kind of sided with him in a way, or at least through understanding.
I mean, just the fact that anybody can side with him makes him a great villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting through that intent where it's like, oh, yeah. And his action, too, truly. Even though it made everybody
I kind of wish that some of the Avengers had, like, openly sided with him, but ultimately came to the, yeah, but that's fucked up, we gotta stop him. I kind of wish they had explored that, but I don't really feel like they did.
That would have been really interesting. I don't know who would have. Like Vision, maybe.
Man, this totally took a random fucking turn.
My bad.
Oh, man.
It's what we do, though, right?
I mean,
true.
here's like an adjacent idea to the original idea, if you guys have nothing else to say about that, or if we want, like, to steer back to it, that I like to think about a lot, which is, I call it main character syndrome. And this is one of those ideas that you get somewhere between, like, high school and college, where you kind of realize that you're going through life feeling like you have all this depth, and then everybody you meet is two-dimensional, but then you realize at a point, you, like, your brain, as it's kicking on, realizes, oh shit, everybody else is going through their life with all this depth, and they think that I'm just the guy that they had that one interaction with. And you kind of start to realize, like, that piece of shit that slammed the door in my face, this might be the worst day he's ever fucking had. He might be a great guy. I might have just caught him on, like, the worst day. And that kind of plays into the whole actions versus intentions. Like, I'm more often than not willing to give shithole people I meet in public the benefit of the doubt, up until they're endangering fucking lives. Like, I don't care what kind of day you're having. If you're driving like a jackass, I hate you.
Yeah. You're describing that moment of realization where you understand, you take the agency out of yourself and you recognize that everyone has their own agency. Yeah, that's your God, how do I want to describe this?
Well, while you're thinking about it, I'll pose this question too, which is, it's a hard thing to, like, put into words, but what's your quantitative line of benefit of the doubt for someone? Like, at what point are you like, no? Like,
Hurting people. Once you're hurting or endangering somebody in some way, then I stop
yeah.
caring if you meant to do it or not. Because we live in, like people like to say, we live in a fucking society. There are rules. We're supposed to, like, ultimately be in this together. And, you know, we apes together strong. You know, as soon as we aren't apes together.
What about revenge? So
Revenge is entirely emotional.
right.
Like if you're gonna tell me that revenge has any logical core, then I disagree.
No, I'm not saying.
So I'm not really willing to work revenge into my logical, systematic, you know what I mean, lines drawn in the sand of my morals.
So they would. So depending on what the revenge is, you could give them a benefit of the doubt.
No, I don't. I don't think that revenge. I don't think that I can judge revenge as a blanket thing to judge because it is emotional, and this is a logical judgment. I think all revenge is 100% emotional.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so to apply logic to it doesn't help anybody.
That's fair.
I think I figured out how I wanted to word what I was talking about, that phenomenon that Matt called the main character effect or whatever.
Mhm.
Syndrome.
Yeah, main character syndrome. Basically, it's the removal of the idea that the world revolves around you, kind of thing. Like, it's the realization that everybody is actually their own
Center point.
external agent. Yeah, like, you know, just because I don't see John right now, my brother, doesn't mean he doesn't exist and he's not in there tearing his fucking hair out doing some shitty ass work or something. Like, he still exists, he's still doing that. It's it's object permanency. It's but for people and events that are happening to them.
Wait, explain that, because I've never heard that term before.
Okay, so object permanency is actually referred to in child learning. So basically, when you're dealing with small babby TJ, and I grab this bottle cap on my desk and I wave it in front of your face and you go, ha, bottle cap, I'm a little child baby. And then I put the bottle cap behind my back and then I set it down and I pull the hand out and the bottle cap's not there anymore. And the baby's eyes go wide and they don't understand that the bottle cap still exists. They think you just made it disappear and it no longer exists. Eventually, you reach an age to where you as a living human child understand that the bottle cap is simply still behind the person. But until that point, you think that material has completely disappeared and stopped existing because you can no longer see it.
Wait, the bottle
That's
cap
what
truly exists? I haven't.
That's why.
reached that point
That's
yet.
why peekaboo. That's why peekaboo works on small children.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Huh.
Yeah. That's a psychological aspect of human learning.
That's cool. I've never heard of that. I like that. Makes sense. Too.
That's why you see it with animals too. Like when you pretend to throw a ball, but you actually like put it behind you, and the dog goes to try and find the ball and doesn't think to look behind you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have object permanency.
Or when you leave and your dog's flipping the fuck out, and then you come back and he's like, "Holy shit, he's not gone."
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that one is. Sorry, I knew there was like a clinical official term for it, and I could not remember it at all.
Our cat definitely has that.
Yeah, like animals can
Or doesn't.
Yeah, I should
animals
say
can
doesn't
like
have it.
develop a vague sense of it. Like my dog, before she passed away, she eventually figured out like if she didn't see the ball leave our hand, so that when she turned her head, like she didn't see it go through the air, she learned she needed to go behind us and she'd find it. Like
I was just wondering,
yeah.
like, could you teach dogs to deal with you leaving by basically having them learn that the ball is behind your back? Could you like teach dogs object permanency and therefore make them freak out less when you leave?
I think I think the problem with teaching an animal object permanency is similar to terrorists making bombs. And I know
You're gonna have to explain that one for me.
I know, right? Okay.
I'm excited.
So I think the issue is a dog can understand it for a tennis ball, but it will never be able to make the leap of tennis ball equals human walking outdoor. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
This makes sense. I'm still
Okay.
waiting for the correlation.
And then jumping to terrorists making IEDs. A terrorist that learns copper wire from a car alternator works really well for transmitting the signal to detonate the IED. Understands that copper wire from car alternators works well, but does not understand that any copper wire will work just as well. It's fucking hilarious and true. I'm not even kidding. It's nuts.
That's
They
interesting.
will only
Crazy.
go for that. Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. I mean, obviously there's exceptions out of the norm and whatnot, outliers, but a majority of the time, that's exactly what's happening, is they're going to the same exact source for the same exact materials. And it's, I hope they I mean, ideally I hope, bombings stop and all that stuff, but if it is going to be an inevitability that bad people do bad things, as long as they do it predictably, then that's
a
what I
little
would
better.
want.
As long as we understand their intentions behind.
No,
Oh,
see, that's
God.
Not their intention. I mean, like,
I don't think you can have good intentions to making a bomb.
no, that's not what I mean. I mean of their
No, I know.
process
A
of going to
party
that
bomb.
wire. And we know where
A
they're
what?
going.
I said a party bomb. We need to get a soundboard. Should have just done like
An
a
Irish
confetti
car bomb.
cannon. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh man, now I want booze. It's 11 a.m. and I want booze. What have you done to me?
That's all right. It's under quarantine still.
Hey, man, I can fucking fix that. Taco Bell. There you go.
There you go.
Matt, what was your intention behind saying that?
That tacos are better than burritos.
I was honestly, it was like, this will get a funny reaction.
Okay. As long as it wasn't, I'm gonna make him fat.
No, it definitely wasn't. Like I was just saying earlier, I care about people's intentions because a lot of the time I don't think through everything I'm gonna say. I didn't have the full conversation with myself. Like, should I say Taco Bell? Should I make Dan, my friend that I don't want to die early, eat these fat, horrible, disgusting food that I know he really likes, but it's ultimately gonna kill him sooner? Like, should I do that? I didn't think about any of that. I was just like, I bet if I say Taco Bell, it'll distract him and it'll be a funny reaction.
I forget. Have you guys got the triple lupa yet?
The
I don't know what that is.
You got to look it up.
Hold up.
It's delicious.
Hold up.
It's
Google.
three.
Now, see, I would argue that TJ,
It's
some questionable intentions here.
it's 3 mini. Well, I just had it.
Triple
It's 3 mini
lupa.
chalupas, and they each have
I don't even know
different.
what a
Oh,
chalupa is.
They each
right.
have a
This
different
is
sauce.
this is the chalupa centipede. I've seen this before.
It's so yummy.
It's like a human centipede, but chalupas.
Yeah, and,
They're, like,
each
stitched
little
together.
chalupa is a different flavor.
TJ, I'm sorry. I hit my Discord mute button and then burped. Completely forgot we're recording this, so you're gonna have you can find that and mute it.
Oh no, I remember seeing an ad for this and I'm like, I fucking love chalupas and I don't want to eat that. That looks horrifying.
Oh, it's,
What
it's
is a
delicious.
chalupa?
And it's not as
A chalupa is
it's not,
basically
super
like
big.
it's like a deep fried taco kind of thing. Like the
Mm-hmm.
taco shell is deep fried and then you put the meat in it. I don't know. It
Mm-hmm.
tastes really good.
Yeah,
I didn't need to know that existed because I want one of those now.
you want it.
Dude,
It's delicious.
when you get here, I will introduce you to the magic of chalupa, gordita, and quesarito.
Ugh.
That your holy trinity.
Yes, that is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost right there.
My buddy,
Hold on. No, you can go.
my buddy introduced me to
brewing up an
homemade
idea here.
tamales. And
Oh my
I
God.
love homemade tamales.
You said tamales. Somebody posted. I saw it on Facebook. It was It was one of those Karen memes. It had the grumpy white lady, and she was like, nobody actually likes the taste of tamales. And then it just showed a picture of a tamale, and it said, actually, Karen, you can go to hell.
Right? Oh, I love tamales.
Oh my god.
Yeah, tamales with sour cream, and if they're like made with the with like the shredded beef in the middle, you can leave.
Yeah, there's a hot take. You're whack, Matt.
Dude. You're whack.
Sour cream.
Here's the thing though. I'll eat the shit out of some sour cream and onion chips. Cannot stand actual sour cream.
Yeah, that's different though. Those are definitely different.
Okay. I'm
that's
glad
like
those are
I don't
different.
mind ketchup, but I hate tomatoes.
Okay.
I love tomatoes. I love all things tomatoes, but I used to hate tomatoes.
I mean, some foods are just their flavor, and some foods aren't. I feel like tomatoes aren't just their flavor, but sour cream is.
No, that's true. I will say though,
and so I thought it was a bit more of a correlation.
Oh yeah, this episode is definitely taking a turn.
Yeah,
tomatoes.
No, it's the WAQ show. We aren't qualified. Things will go off the rails. That was in the intro.
Tomatoes are definitely based off of what tomato you have too, because that makes a difference in their flavor.
I have found that I don't actually hate tomatoes. I just hate tomatoes that are mostly water, and I have no control over whether or not my tomato is mostly water, so I don't get tomatoes on things.
Roma tomato is not very watery. It's more solid.
But what am I going to do? Fucking ask him, hey, buddy, what kind of tomato are you using?
What is your intention of being a tomato on my meal?
Yeah.
You're gonna make all my shit soggy?
Yeah.
No, I always, when I was younger, I hated tomatoes, and I found it weird because I liked all other vegetables. So I made sure I ate a tomato every year because I know taste buds changed, now I love them.
I did that with carrots for the longest time, and I just found out I don't like raw carrots.
So
that's fair.
So here's a way to kind of tie the topics back together. Let's posit this hypothetical.
Holy shit, hold on. New name for podcast, let's say.
Let's say. Like let's play.
Episode, this is what, episode 9?
Let's say you order some food from a restaurant. Hello, cat. And the chef comes out, let's say it's like, I don't know, like an IHOP or a Denny's or something. And they come out and they put your plate of pancakes and eggs and sausage down. And you go and you start eating your eggs and you find there's something in the eggs. It's like hair or a nail or something nasty. And like people will get really pissed off at the restaurant because of that. But it's obviously not the guy's intention to have let hair or nail or whatever get in the food.
Yeah.
So are they justified in being angry?
I will answer that by describing my reaction. So I think my reaction would happen in waves. I think initially, depending on how in the food it was, I would be disgusted. Like, am I pulling it out of the middle of my egg, or is it just draped along top? And then I would have a definite thought, like, how hungry am I? Am I willing to deal with this? And so I would either be willing to deal with it based on level of hunger and placement in food. Like, if it's in the middle of my fucking hamburger, I pull it out of my mouth after I just took a bite. Or is it like just touching the edge of the hamburger, like it clung to the cheese a little bit? So I'm either going to decide that I am willing to remove it and continue eating, or I'm going to go up and be like, hey, I'm sorry. There's a hair in my food. Could I please get a new food?
See, I find that
I don't think I'm going to be mad. I think I'm going to be like, I got to wait for more food. Fuck.
TJ, what's your approach on this?
So, I'm mostly with Matt. I want to give an example too. I don't think initially, the only way I would be mad if it was an obvious thing, like say there was like a bug just chilling on top, like, and anyone could see it by the time they delivered. That being said, I wouldn't want them to pull it off and deliver it to me, knowing. I'd rather them be like, it's going to take some more time. We have to remake your plate. A bug landed in your food. Something like that. then I wouldn't be mad. Most of the time, I'm not mad, but I know people who get furious at stuff like that, and I don't think it's right to be. I won't say the restaurant, but it's a decent restaurant, like middle ground, not like super classy, but in that middle area.
So Applebee's.
No, a little bit higher than that, just a tad.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about Olive Garden.
Huh?
I said, so you're talking about Olive Garden.
Yeah, about on the same line as that. Yeah. But it's not either of those places. But I got a burger because they do a burger day for a good deal and stuff. And it was like lunch hour and like no one was in there. But so I was in there, got my burger, and they gave it to me. I opened it up, and there was a dead fly on the bun. So it probably happened when he like pushed it down, didn't see it.
And some fucking protein.
I was like, I went up because I was like in the bar area, but like at the tables. I just went up to the bar. I'm like, there's a fly here, and they took care of it right away. They made me a new burger, whole new plate of food. But the manager was sitting like across, talking to someone, and they pulled the bartender over to see what was going on, and they gave me my whole meal for free, and everything. No, I didn't ask for that, and I didn't care. I was like, it is what it is. Like, that's not, their fault. So it also depends on how they take care of the situation, and if I'm going to be mad or not. I don't need free if something like that happens, but like, as long as they're like, don't have an attitude about it or something like that. Because I've seen other places where people have had, like the waitress has an attitude, and that's not okay. That would make me more mad.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, your food's been soiled somehow that was not of your action, kind of thing. Yeah. The most interesting thing about both of your responses, and I agree, I think people who get mad at the restaurant, or specifically at the server especially, like, why would you get mad at the person who just walked the food over to you? They had nothing to do with any of this, but anyway. My biggest issue with those people is like, look, man, shit happens. Like, you've probably given your kid some food that's got some shit on it that's not supposed to be there. Like, it just happens. Don't be mad. Just ask for it to get fixed, kind of thing. But the most interesting thing out of your guys' responses was from Matt. The first thing he said he would say if this happened to him was, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I kind of caught myself with that, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Which I think,
because I hate complaining.
I mean,
I think
I'm
that's
inconveniencing them just as much as they've inconvenienced me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so isn't it only fair? It's quid pro quo at that point. You're both out the same amount of convenience at that point. Yeah. So why do you feel the need to apologize?
I don't know. It's kind of reflex.
Same.
Like I'm going up to this person. I could make the argument that I am apologizing to the person I am talking to because I am now giving them extra work for something that was not their fault.
That's what I was about to say.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Like I didn't think, like I said, I don't think about a lot of things, so I didn't think about it. It just kind of happens. But like realistically, I'm going up to this person and I'm like, hey, I'm about to give you an extra thing to do. You're gonna have to talk to like 4 people, figure out how you guys are gonna handle this. I'll be over at my fucking seat, none the wiser, just waiting for extra food because you're gonna make me extra food. Like, this is all the subtext of that interaction. When I go up and I'm like, hey, rando, sorry, there is something in my food. Can I get more food?
Yeah, and that kind of wraps into the whole main character thing you were talking about before, is like, you don't see the trials and tribulations of server X getting you a new plate of food. That doesn't exist to you, kind of thing. But since you have object permanency, you're kind of like aware that they're about to go through trouble for you, kind of thing. So yeah. I guess that's where the guilt comes from, because when you apologize, it's out of a feeling of guilt. Yeah. So I don't know, just one of the interesting things about the response, and I think it ties everything we've talked about together really well.
Mm-hmm. I have 2 things out of all that too. More than anything, like, bugs don't even gross me out as hair does. I can't stand hair, especially around my face, which is funny because I have a really nice beard. But
I was gonna say, like, TJ, whatever you do, don't look in the mirror.
Except for hair on someone's head, like anywhere else, it just grosses me out. And I was traumatized in middle school. with a school lunch.
Dun,
I was
dun,
starving
dun.
in this one day, and they served pizza. And I was so hungry that I took a giant bite out of this pizza.
You didn't realize that the pizza had a beard.
Yeah, essentially, there was a layer, not one piece,
Beards,
a layer of hair underneath the cheese.
Oh, fuck.
Look,
Yeah.
man, they're just making sure you got your fiber, okay?
How I
Don't-
didn't puke on the spot, I don't know. I had to go back and I pulled up the cheese and you could just see nothing but hair. And I'm like,
How does that even
somehow
happen?
I was so hungry I ate another piece. I lifted the cheese up, of course, to make sure there's
I
nothing.
can't imagine dealing with that well as a child.
Since that day, I can't stand hair anywhere near like my mouth. Now, obviously, I understand that it comes from places where, like, if it's my own hair, or someone I know has clean hair, I can handle it to a certain degree. And it's my luck. I always get hair on my plate. From anything. It happens all the time. You can ask my dad. Like 7 out of 10 times we go to a restaurant, like there's a piece on my plate. Usually I just brush it off. It's not the end of the world. I try not to eat anything that was around or, go to that part of the plate. But yeah.
I can only imagine you were a side character in somebody else's like child versus lunch lady prank plot. And the lunch lady gave him like, here you go, little shit. Here's your fucking hair pizza. And he was like, oh, thanks. Swaps covertly.
I would want revenge on that person. that traumatized me for hair. I was never bothered by it until that point. Since that day. The other thing. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I have a buddy that has a similar like weird story where he refuses to eat fruit because as a kid his mom would cut him bananas, and he tried to cut himself a banana and he cut himself.
Oh.
And now he's just like, yeah, a fruit like hurt me, so I'm not gonna eat fruit.
That's
Or
part
some-
of my
Interesting.
hatred of coconuts.
Some such logic.
Yeah. I won't question it. We all have weird stuff like that. Not all, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Just little things. The other thing that frustrates me, and I've seen so many people do it, is people who get, like how you were saying, Dan, who don't yell at the messenger kind of thing, but get furious like when their steak's not cooked right, or even like on the phone with companies where it's the
That's
messenger,
such a
they're trying to help you.
first world fucking problem. My
Yeah.
steak is not cooked enough. Bitch, at least you got cooked food. Damn. Like, oh my god.
And they get mad, like
It's
ugly
ridiculous.
mad. I'm just like, one, it's not that person's fault. Like, if you're gonna go yell at someone, yell at the chef. Now I understand because my dad's had one before where we sent it back 3 or 4 times and it still wasn't right. I don't know how you do that, but
Did you super salt it each time?
super salt.
That's the trick. If you send food back, you're supposed to like do something that you can notice so they don't just give you the same food back.
Oh, that's smart. I never thought about that.
Yep.
For listeners who made it this long in the episode, mental note.
I mean, don't make it sound like it's a marathon. Jesus.
No, I'm just saying.
Uh,
We veered off from topic. That's all I'm saying.
like fucking hard too. We were before the episode, a little behind the curtain. Before the episode, we were like, "All right, what do we want to talk about?" And we were all like, "You know what? Actions versus intentions. It's probably got like a lot of good juice, in there. It'll be some good conversation." 5 minutes in, we're talking about like food and shit.
I mean, I think it's all been adjacent to the topic.
Oh yeah. That's the beauty of that topic. I mean, you can kind of
Just like the hair was
Pair anything
adjacent
up
to the
to it.
layer of cheese.
yeah. the action into my intention of why I hate hair. Unless it's on someone's head. Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining your fucking girlfriend, fiance, wife, bald.
No.
'Cause you're like, I hate hair. You gotta get rid of it, honey.
Brittany has long, beautiful hair, which is awesome.
Way to dox your significant other, dude.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, now
There's only
all
one
the
person in
Britneys
the world with that name.
That's okay. She, what was I gonna say? Oh, she's gonna donate it eventually, though. Cut off a big
I mean, that's
chunk
the way
for
to
wigs
go.
and stuff, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
At this rate, with the way I'm looking, I could donate some of mine too.
I was gonna grow my hair out until I could donate it, but you know, the heat hits, and I was like, get rid of it. So I had my hair cut literally yesterday.
So, I should send you guys a picture of what my beard looks like right now. It's crazy, and I don't know, probably a couple more weeks it'll be gone. Shaving it all off.
You gonna donate that? Beards for Love?
Probably could. And
I don't
then
think you can.
why not?
I just don't think they want that kind of hair.
Some wiry hair.
Jesus.
There's someone out there.
You could donate that hair to a restaurant in need.
I think the funniest thing that's
Oh.
ever happened.
They need that hair for the hair layer on the pizza.
Oh man,
Jesus.
no. Ugh.
Okay. I mean, as fun as it is to talk about, you know, donating hair and all that shit, are we done? Have we hit our topic well enough?
We have. I just want to say one quick funny story about my beard since we're on that topic slightly.
Okay.
It was either last year or the year before. We were out at amusement park and for the Halloween thing, where they just set it up for, you know, scare trails and all that stuff. We were walking through one, and I don't scare easily at those places.
I do.
I could have side stories for this. Anyways, we were walking down it, and I saw the guy, and he must have saw my face and knew that I wasn't gonna scare. And he had just scared someone else, which was hilarious. He looks at me dead in the eye, like slightly out of character, and compliments my beard.
All right, I just have to ask. What was this guy? Like, was it a ghost complimented your beard, a werewolf? What?
It's a
I'm
clown.
pretty sure it was like a Jason type with like a saw.
Ah, yes. Jin, nice beard.
He just stopped, looked at me, and it's like, that's a really nice beard or something like that. Brittany and I, we were just cracking up like, yeah, it wasn't the first time that's happened like that.
Nice.
Anyways, I just thought it was funny. I don't even think mine's all that great, but anyways, yeah, that's today. You guys have any final thoughts for the episode?
If you want your intentions to be more important than your actions, do something to make them clear. That's my final thought.
Yeah.
Have better control of your actions.
Or if you're an idiot like me that doesn't think about everything you do, try to give more people the benefit of the doubt, because honestly, you're not the only idiot out there.
We are all idiots. We are all whack.
Also,
There we go.
you know, explaining your intentions after the fact goes a long way. I've done it before.
Yeah, it does.
And you're just like, hey,
It can.
I'm sorry. I don't think about everything I do. I didn't intend for that to be the case.
All right. That wraps up our show. Explain your intentions. And thank you for listening. I'm TJ.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Dan.
And that's the WAQ Show. Bye.
Bye.